I got him. Now, Tank, now.
Welcome to your doom.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
We should welcome to the Non-Essentials podcast. I'm actually sober right now.
Okay. Yeah.
We got to fix that.
We'll introduce ourselves.
Well, listener H actually got us a bottle of Maker's Mark, or Member's Mark, as you like to call it.
Mushroom stamps.
Yeah,
That's actually a gigantic bottle.
It
of
is
Maker's
a
Mark.
gigantic
Yeah.
bottle.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to be butt chugging it by the end of the night. No, my name is Adam, ready to learn about Juneteenth.
Oh.
Riley.
Mine's Jake. Adam's already racist for not knowing which
What
day
the
of the
fuck?
June. You're gonna lose this whole episode.
Oh, my God.
I'm Renee, here to bring you info about Juneteenth. Right.
Cool.
Okay.
Episode 85A.
Yeah, 85A.
And Juneteenth is just this is my stupidity, but it's just a contraction of the word June 19th.
Right.
Yes.
So
Right.
it's kind of like Brangelina.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it now that you did that.
They married the name June with the name 19, and they're like
Sure.
Juneteenth.
Okay. How
they
how
blended-
old?
blended.
So you said it marks the end of slavery. Is that what this is?
No. So,
Okay.
Well, no, it's like that's what people kind of like associated to, but it's
I feel like I should have
really.
like 10 stupid points to say, and I
Yeah.
lose one each time until I have to stop talking
Get the
again.
tally
Okay.
So
mark on it.
Juneteenth is the day in 1865 when the people of Galveston, Texas, which Galveston's is pretty far down south.
Sure.
So it's like the far reaches when General Granger came into town and announced that to everybody that all the slaves are now free.
Okay.
So even though
Was it the end of the Civil War? That's what this was?
yeah, so
Okay.
Robert E. Lee surrendered in April.
Okay.
And so April went by, May, June, because they had to send the troops down.
That's pretty quick for back. Like
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, they didn't have like
AOL.
no one got tagged in like a photo.
No one got poked.
Hashtag retreat.
Hey, it's over.
Well, the whites knew about it from the newspapers, but definitely not the slaves because
Sure.
they're,
You're gonna
they're not
withhold
literate.
that, yeah.
And yeah, they definitely were
Been
withholding
like,
that.
nope, still going.
Okay.
So when General Granger hopped into town, he came out and said, "This
It's not
is
the Granger from Janesville.
I
is
no,
saw
it's
your-
not spelled the same."
I
so.
saw his brain doing that
for
too.
listeners outside of Janesville, there's a massive company called Granger.
Yeah.
So
Which, yeah, makes safety.
it's not like
supplies.
Mendenhall tractors here. So
Is that
he,
a Nazi joke?
it is a Nazi joke.
Okay,
I
go
did
on.
not see that one coming. Keep going.
Ah.
he had his General Executive Order number 3, which states that people of Texas are informed in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, which is the president, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights between property of the former slaves and masters, and the connection heretofore existing between them will now become that of an employer and hired labor.
Yeah, I'm assuming that like we were joking about that plantation owners are like, yeah, I guess the paper didn't come today.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think it mentioned anything.
I don't think the paper's gonna come until the end of the next sowing season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read the news in years because it's all bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
So yeah, so when he came into town, like I said, it's almost like in World War II when they went to all the different POW camps and
Yeah, there's
like-
no Paul Revere.
yeah, it's like
Breaking
you almost have
through.
to go from like prisoner camp to prisoner camp and let them out, or sort of like that type of situation. Now people will
exactly
say
like that situation.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close.
that this is slaves were freed in the Emancipation Proclamation, and like I think we've talked about this when we talked about the 13th Amendment.
Yeah, during the
But-
Civil War amendments, 13,
Yeah.
14. Is that? I think that's episode 14 of the Non-Essentials podcast. We did
I
the
believe that's-
13th, 14th, and 15th.
Yes.
So the Emancipation Proclamation only freed slaves in border states, which Texas is not one of those states.
What do you mean the border states?
So Maryland,
bordering
the
to-
north, like their land touches Northland.
I did not know that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what it's hoping is that the slaves on the border states will flip, come to the north, and then become
There's a
part of the
domino
Union
effect.
Army. Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah. But that it didn't work out that way because, again, they're not literate.
This feels a lot like stoners in Beloit hearing that weed is legal in Illinois. Where you're just like, are you kidding?
Yeah, is that the Mason-Dixon line right across the...
I've never heard. I thought the Emancipation Proclamation was just
everybody.
And but it was just like
the slaves
the
in the border
lands.
states.
Okay.
Which is not that much of the total South, obviously.
Sure, especially Texas being like the largest of the lower 48.
Yeah,
so.
I think there was 4 million slaves total, and there was just, I mean, a few 100,000 in the border states. So we're not talking a lot. Actually, so the 13th Amendment, which was ratified in December of 1865, is which made slavery legal in all the states. But if you're saying, like, the South is like, well, we're the Confederate States. We're totally different countries, so we don't have to adhere to your ratification. So they didn't notify the slaves, oh, by the way,
how easy is it to picture just a white guy yelling that? Just like, we all got to adhere to your ratification.
No. I'm sorry. I think it'd be much more foghorn. Like, I say, we do not have to adhere.
Anyways, there was a resounding ignorance.
Yeah.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah, they're like, I can't read.
In Louisiana, like, don't say it. We're not going to understand it. I'm sorry.
That's
homo's where a homo is.
Yeah. I say homo wouldn't make it.
And the slaves are like, anywhere? They're like, not here.
It is Pride Month. You like to see homos naked? No, I like to see homos naked. Come on, that's a solid Waterboy joke.
No, that's not Waterboy. Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt. Damn it. God damn it.
Is it?
Take two.
Yeah.
That's a solid Joe Dirt. Yeah, remember he's like,
I do mix those.
I was
he's
obsessed
like,
with Joe Dirt for a while.
You on a date, boy.
Yeah.
All right.
So Texas in particular seceded from the Union
it.
1 year before the 13th Amendment. So,
okay.
And they deposed then Governor Sam Houston because Sam Houston refused to take the oath of the Confederacy.
So Texas was so rebellious they rebelled against the rebellion.
Yeah, and they also didn't even want to be a part of the CSA either.
What's that?
This Confederate States of America.
Oh, okay. All right, we're gonna hang back.
Yeah, let's see how things turn out.
Okay.
Well, remember, I mean, they're kind of their own entity.
Yeah.
Anyway. I mean, I think we've talked about it in the past, but I feel like they're the only state in the U.S. that actually have it in their constitution that at any moment they can break away. Is that correct?
And this is like, too, they had the Mexican-American War. So they have, like, Texas has their hands dipped in a lot of different directions. So the slave owners during the Civil War, they kept moving their slaves south to protect their, and I'm doing air quotes now, property.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, the thing that Texas had to remember too is like, Alamo money, Alamo problems.
Oh my God, he went there.
All right, sorry. I'll see myself out.
Yeah.
I think you should.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to remember the Alamo.
I get it. Keep going.
Okay.
Plow ahead.
As the South was losing ground, they kept moving their slaves further south. So by this time, there's like almost 1 million slaves in Texas alone.
Mm-hmm.
So these are like the last people to hear about the good news. So that's why it's such a big deal, is because you have a lot of people that didn't know. But here's the thing with Texas. Is this brought a lot of like uncomfortableness between both the slave owners and the slaves, because the slave owners are like, I'm not going to pay these people. Why should I pay them when I can just have them work for free?
Right.
And then the slaves were thinking, where am I going to live? Because usually they lived on the plantation, where, and they kept working, and they're like hoping that their owner was going to just put a W-2 form out for them. I don't know.
Yeah. Can I get a 1099?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, can I get, there's like no, so people kept working and they just continued to not get paid. But there were people who would want to leave and they would try to flee. They would be shot, killed, hung,
Mm-hmm.
So because
they're
like, you're not going to leave. You think you're going to leave just because this general told you could leave. You're not leaving.
It's like, this is like just a weird interjection. I feel like in my lifetime, I hate to go back to like the legalization of marijuana, but it feels like it's taking just forever to do this. It's kind of refreshing to hear that this is a common thing. Like in the past, I don't know. I was always like, they always said the Emancipation Proclamation, like, okay, and everything happened. And I just kind of assumed it was like, an instantaneous thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to find out that,
as of tomorrow.
yeah, humans are still humans even back
Yeah.
then, where they're son of bitches, where they send them across the border like, haha, they're free over here, but not over here. It's like,
Well, it's also probably like a lot of times, even when it wasn't like federally passed or whatever, but like certain states would be like, oh yeah, we're legalizing pot, and then
Exactly.
all these dispensaries would just get like ransacked by the FBI or whatever it is,
Yeah.
because it's not a federal law. And so
yeah,
they're just like
that's where, like,
cracking
I hate to keep comparing it back to that,
Not
but
FBI, but-
that's kind of like what it reminds me of nowadays. It's like, but it's refreshing to know that, like, it wasn't such a cut and dry thing of like, okay, now everybody's free. It was like probably 20 years of just headaches and people like hiding the news.
Well, as
from
she
their
was saying
people.
though too, it's probably also one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, enforce it.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like I'm
And
like
Abraham Lincoln. So.
Well, as soon as
Pride
the soldiers left, it was easy because the KKK came in to enforce it.
Right.
Like, enforce their way, I should say. But the scary thing about going north is
Which were just the soldiers, though. They were like,
Yeah.
aha, different hat. So,
well, no, not Union soldiers.
no, I'm saying
yeah.
the ones in the South. They were
Yes.
just like, oh, we're not Confederate
Yeah.
soldiers anymore. Well, now we're spooky ghosts.
Yeah.
yeah. We like to dress up like ghosts or something.
Wow. Because in the north, there was
was a
racist
good-
people there,
That's a good
Exactly.
fucking Forrest Gump.
and they may not be successful in the north either. So it's like no matter what direction they go in, it's the uncertainty of it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you got 3 hots in a cot, like
That's
Yeah.
prison.
yeah. I'm trying. Well, they're also in prison.
Yeah.
Essentially on the plantation. But no, I get it. As far as like, why gamble when you have like, you'll be alive tomorrow if you just like,
Stay here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But a lot of it turned into indentured servitude.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, well, you've been living at that house on my plantation, so you owe me, $900, but you only earned $600, so.
Exactly.
It's the Walmart theory.
Yeah. Most of those who did migrate, they left almost immediately. Like while the soldiers were there, they're like, "We better do it now while the soldiers are here," and they, bolted.
Kind of smart.
Yeah.
That is the thing where it's like complacency does kill. And, this whole like, it'll get better for me. There's a moment where if you get the opportunity, go.
Yeah.
And that includes things you have to leave behind, which is awful. But it's like you gotta measure what it's worth to you and just pull the trigger at that point. So
Yeah, but it's hard because it breaks up families. But then again, a lot of families were broken up when they'd be sold to different places, and they never knew where their family member was sold to.
Well, I always think about like in World War II, like the people. I always want to ask, like, how did you know to just get out? Come to like Einstein was one of those. Like,
Yeah.
How much writing has to be on the wall before you're like, fuck everything. I'm getting and just I'll leave everything just to get away and just to look behind you and watch what happened. There's always that moment where I always wonder, like,
Maybe
realistically,
following his gut. I don't know.
yeah, but I mean, you're talking about the same thing, I guess, if you wanted to make it current events. But I mean, think of Ukrainians, right? now.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like there's the eventual. There's always been this sort of Damocles, basically hanging over all of their heads by the sword by the hair kind
That's
of thing.
Putin and lightly.
Yeah, nice one. I like that. But no, it's like at any moment, it's like that this fucking motherfucker's gonna come in, So it's I don't know. That's the best way I can liken it to nowadays.
Sure.
To where you just
I just think
feel
it's
the sense
interesting. Like, at what point do you just be
Yeah.
like, all right, let's go?
But I like what she's talking about as far as they're like, listen, like by myself, I'm probably not that tough, but I have this entire army here that's like
Right.
here's
Yeah.
my window, like train's leaving.
No,
you
that's
know?
what I mean. And like, I just think like how happy you have to be to look back and realize the good decision you made
Yeah.
when you can make it in that small window. It's gotta
Yeah.
feel so
Yeah.
good in an awful way. So
Yeah.
Well, and the benefit of going to the north is that most of the jobs in the north are manufacturing jobs, so they're able to like leave that agricultural society because if they just worked in agriculture in the north, it's just a repetition of what they were doing in the south.
sure.
So it was something that they could do that's like just 180 degrees from what they were doing.
Yeah.
So the freed Texan slaves created the celebration called June the 19th,
Okay.
which would eventually become Juneteenth, and that would some people would call it Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, Black Independence Day, but in Texas they called it June the 19th.
Black people have a way of making things cooler than they were originally. Like, I'm going to call it Juneteenth. You know?
God damn, what did I think?
Yeah, I'm like, what a good idea, man.
Damn it.
And so
That's when just white people need to discover it. No. We discovered. Now yeah.
Somebody's come along. Like, I called it Juneteenth. I
Yeah.
shake my legs the same way. So,
Is that another Forrest Gump quote?
no, that's an Elvis one. And I also fucked my cousin in Germany. I don't know if this is cousin. She was 14. It's a whole thing.
No, I'm talking about Elvis. Remember Forrest Gump with
Yeah.
Elvis? Like he.
Yeah.
he
Why
got-
don't you show me that little leg shake you do
Why don't
again?
you show me that little leg shake?
Can I do a quick side tangent to where it's just like Forrest Gump, since we talked about it that much? I went and saw, you remember Angels in the Outfield?
yeah,
My
like,
grandpa took me to the theater. Angels in the Outfield, I was like 9 years old. And Forrest Gump, it came out at the exact same time. And I had to go refill the popcorn. And it was that like movie moment where I stopped by like the Forrest Gump rated R above the movie. And I'm like, just gonna peek. Just gonna peek for a second. And I looked in there when Jenny was on the stage, naked with the guitar. And I heard in the movie, I heard the guy yell, "Someone needs to get her a harmonica." And I remember going back to the rest of Angels in the Outfield, just being like, that's the most rated R movie ever. And I just could not wait to see the rest of it. Just thinking it would be nothing but just nudity. And
the rest of the movie is just her playing the harmonica with a giant queef, and then the credits roll.
Yeah, and trapping a guy with AIDS.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to
he digresses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. June 19th, buddy. Thank you.
So it was a big deal in Texas because there were so many.
Happy harmonica day.
Happy Pride Month.
So many slaves freed in the same area. So they said, hey, why don't we have a celebration? And part of the celebration would be, their progress from that date. So this is a day we were feeling, what progress have we made since then? Since last year and the year before and the year before?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
And it spread as former slaves migrated across the country, but yet it was still really only celebrated in Texas and a few pockets here and there.
Sure.
Sort of like Cinco de Mayo. It used to be only kind of in California and not everybody else. Yeah. Maybe a pocket here and there, but everybody else didn't.
Okay.
So
I gotta be honest, I only really heard of Juneteenth from you guys and in the last few years. So is it?
And I'm going to bring that up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it started as a barbecue, but they would always make sure to have like a strawberry soda or a red soda pop and red velvet cake to commemorate the blood that was spilt.
This isn't a
during
period
slavery.
party?
No. It does sound like it'd be a good period party.
It could be.
Oh. Yeah.
Stop it.
So they would eat, they had sermons, they would sing spirituals, have parades, play games, but
I gotta tell you, this sounds like a fantastic event because I love red velvet cake and barbecues.
That's actually Jake's favorite is red velvet.
I like German chocolate too.
I think you just you know where German chocolate cake is from?
Chicago.
Damn it. Fuck.
We'll continue the fact.
Okay, keep going.
No.
Never mind.
No, the German.
It's actually Germans.
It's his last name.
Yeah.
The chef's last name was Germans.
Yeah, everyone always thinks it's from Germany.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I did not
I
see
just
that
thought it was
fact
from like
coming.
the Bavarian chocolate or something because they have really good chocolate. Anyways, so they would every single Juneteenth though, the one thing they make sure they do is to remember the past, discuss their current social struggles, and then hope for the future. So when you say you only heard about it in the last couple of years because no one really had, but there's kind of like, I guess, sort of a guilt for not knowing that, this had been going on generationally. But because after when these people first started it, then when Jim Crow took place in the South, they didn't celebrate it. So there was, a generation or so of people that they just never talked about it.
Okay.
And then in Texas, in 1980, they came up with a state holiday, which was Juneteenth. So that's when it kind of reappears into the American culture. So 1980s, like 42 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's still relatively new. And again, it's in those pockets that it was originally celebrated in.
Okay.
But when this thing happened with George Floyd, it kind of came out more on the national scene because there was companies like Twitter and Lyft and all these other, big companies that were giving their employees a day off for Juneteenth to recognize.
You're not gonna have to twist someone's arm too hard to take a day off in June.
Yeah.
Like,
so then that's when it kind of came into the national spotlight.
but it's good to do that.
You could honestly
for a specific reason.
You could offer me like, hey, you can have a Black 47th day. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like the potato famine. Yeah, I'll take that day off.
Yeah, exactly. You could sell me more on it. Be like, and listen, you have to have red velvet cake and a barbecue. I'll be like, I'll do whatever this is.
Man.
Although, we have, July 4th is our independence from Britain. And after the Civil War, it's hard to have like an end of Civil War party because what we're trying to do is incorporate the South back into the Union. So you can't really shove their face too hard down in it. Otherwise, it's going to cause more resentment and another Civil War.
It's a touchy subject. It's like throwing a barbecue for that day you beat the shit out of your brother. And you invite him and his family.
So, it is a good thing that they had the Juneteenth holiday. It's a good holiday. And especially now, obviously the Civil War thing,
But back then it wasn't.
Back then it wasn't. Back then it would have been a really hot topic.
I mean, it's. I mean, if you think about it, like, I mean, we've talked about this in the past, but like World War I caused World War II.
Right.
Like the resentment of World War I and reparations of that caused World War II.
So it'd be like celebrating the was it the Treaty of Versailles?
Yeah.
Like a party every year. Germany would be sitting there
that's
just
that's
stewing
what you get, you fucking
in their
piece of
sausage.
Yeah.
Plotting.
Actually in their like empty pots because they were starving.
For the World War German 3.
Yeah, yeah.
So
so I get what you're saying because like seriously, like you just cause resentment. There enough generations obviously have passed and it's like, okay, cool, yeah, fuck the
Yeah,
Right.
And you realize like, there obviously a lot of Union blood was spilled. They lost way more people than the South did by leaps and bounds, but
the North did?
Yeah,
because they pushed into unfamiliar territory.
And also because the South had all the generals from West Point that had the best strategy.
Sure.
Like pretty much all the people from West Point went to the South.
Okay.
So
I never thought of. I mean, I guess, but that's General Lee.
Yeah.
And
I mean, granted too, but it's just that more officers from West Point were Southern people.
Generally, they're more Southern.
Get it? Get it?
I got it.
All right. That was a hard wink for listeners that I just did a jig.
Listen, I'll grant you that one.
So, by 2020, 47 states had recognized Juneteenth as a holiday.
How many states?
47.
By what year?
2020. So, from 1980 to 2020.
Who are the three holdouts?
Hawaii.
Okay.
Probably because they probably felt like they weren't involved in the Civil War.
Yeah,
and
there probably weren't a lot of African slaves in Hawaii.
There were slaves in Hawaii, but...
When was Hawaii a state? It was
yeah,
like
not African.
1957? Something like that? Okay. That makes sense. What's the other two?
North and South Dakota. They might have not heard the news yet.
Okay.
We might have 2 listeners there. So.
Yeah, they don't have internet there, so no, I'm just kidding. But those were the holdouts.
Hate mail incoming.
So last year on June 17th of 2021 is
Let's say we have 2 holdouts. We have Hawaii and Dakota.
Yeah.
So, they're still at war. Let us know who wins,
like,
North and South. Then we'll call.
Don't you know?
Okay. Stop now.
Okay.
So June 17, 2021, Biden signed the law declaring Juneteenth a federal holiday.
Okay.
So now it is
Sure.
a paid day off, a
you go.
recognized holiday. So again, like it's a really good thing, and this actually would be a good holiday for people to come together to discuss maybe racial struggles.
No, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like just I guess a topic that invites people to learn.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is like I like learning about this stuff. Like a lot of the stuff you told me I didn't know at all. And to go back to I'm an ignorant person, but like the whole thing where it's like the Emancipation Proclamation, it's one of those things I never really thought about. But I did kind of think it was like okay,
a switch.
I did.
Yeah.
And I guess the more I think about it, the stupider I feel. But it's like
Well, especially since you said stupider instead of more stupid.
No, back then they said stupider. It's
Oh,
fact.
okay. Well,
In the South, they said stupider,
from,
okay?
well, they were from Jupiter.
They're prognosticating back then. So.
And the other thing, too, is it's like what, your life experiences are from your parents and your grandparents and things. And if you just weren't there, I mean, and everyone has their struggles, but now we're learning about it and sharing it. Walmart.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of Walmart.
I'm passing Renee a note right now.
I saw that. I'm just like, what's on you guys' pieces of paper?
So Walmart had...
This is hysterical. I just have to say this. Like, in episode 84, I was just like fuck corporations that just like pander. You know what I mean?
I hate that too. It's like,
It's
buy
so
my product.
Yeah. It's
buy
like,
it. Buy
hey,
it.
we like what you like, so you should buy from us,
Yeah.
But Walmart right now has...
Well, not anymore, but
they took it down only because of the backlash.
there was a backlash. They had Juneteenth ice cream, which was red velvet cake, cheesecake flavored.
This sounds like Wisconsin ice cream. I'm not going to lie. They were just like... this.
But I have to say, I think the funniest part about it is that, again, after Juneteenth ice cream is a trademark logo. Which means that they fucking trademarked Juneteenth. I don't know if this is just to make sure that no other corporation made the same stupid fucking mistake.
Listen, I get that you shouldn't do that. But if I bought Juneteenth ice cream and I'm like, oh, it's red velvet, I might look up why it's red velvet.
Okay, fair
Well,
enough. I get that.
Like, I don't think Walmart
I don't
was
think
that.
you would. There was a lot.
I'm not defending Walmart. Like, listen, here's the thing about Walmart. If it was somehow more profitable to be racist tomorrow, their
Walmart would
advertisements
do it. Yeah.
would be, bring in your Confederate flag and get 10% off, in the name of the lead, or something. So that's like, at least Walmart was, they probably just didn't think it through enough, didn't do enough focus groups. That's all that was.
Yeah. No, I just thought that was exactly what you said.
Yeah.
It's just the pandering. Like, how can we jump on this? And then on top of that, they fucking copyright it, to make sure that, like, Target can't do it.
Sure.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, that's the thing about capitalism. Capitalism is whatever we can to make as much as possible, and I'm on board with the majority of it. Except when you don't think it through enough, when you start leveraging the suffering of mass amounts of people into a coupon,
Yeah, exactly.
It's maybe time to pump the brakes and just say, "Hey, happy June! Ice cream's 10% off."
Yeah, exactly.
So, come on in, throw a barbecue. Have you heard about Juneteenth? It'd be a great opportunity for you and your friends to get together.
Mention Juneteenth to the cashier and you get 12% off.
Yeah. How about that? Walmart? Instead of what colors were these with the ice cream? I'm sure the ice cream itself was like offensively colored.
Well, no.
I didn't see it.
It was red velvet cake flavored ice cream.
So basically a ton of red dye.
Sure.
Red 45 probably.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. So I'm from Minnesota. Everyone there's Lutheran.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Imagine my horror when I moved to Wisconsin.
Hold on. Where are you from there? Are you
No.
from Minnesota?
When at Mardi Gras, I went to the store and there's little naked babies on cakes, and I was like, "What the heck is
Those are
going on
abortions.
Yeah. It's an embryos.
Yeah.
here?" Yeah.
Or zygotes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what it's like to walk into the store and see weird celebration cakes.
Exactly. Like they're just trying to sell stuff. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all that's going on. Well, thank you for walking us through that. Actually, I learned a ton about it, and I know it's like a touchy subject. All right, so listener T has just brought up. Is this the picture of the cake itself?
This is.
Oh,
the packaging.
For fuck's sake, it looks like Jamaica ice cream. Like it's like the flag of That's what I'm talking about. The colors. That's not offensive.
I'm sorry, but the fact that they have two obviously different variant
Dude,
colors.
Clapping hands and high fiving. Juneteenth, everyone's in this, and it's the cool handshake.
Those aren't even. Hold on, those aren't high fives. Those are high fours.
Those are
Wait
high,
a second. Why is there a music symbol by Frozen?
They're Simpson
because
hands.
they love music.
Is it from the movie
Hold
Frozen?
on. Can we buy vanilla ice cream? There are two white guys in suits shaking on the front of it.
That's like the cover of Pink Floyd. Thank you. Yeah, that's so fucking stupid. Fuck you, Walmart. So,
That honestly, the graphic artist you got to pull the reins on that guy a little
he had
bit.
a good time.
You put musical notes.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe he was offended and made it purposely obtuse.
He might have been
Yeah.
listen, fuck Walmart.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is, I am fuck Walmart. I do think that they probably had good intentions to make money.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
well, thank you. This has been episode 85A. Thank you very much. I'm excited that hopefully this, I know this is going to be coming out right before Juneteenth.
Yeah.
So this will give you some good talking points.
I found it pretty interesting and fascinating. And the whole thing where
Yeah.
it's like they didn't do it until 1980, I think is also interesting.
Well, what like kind of came back to a head.
And even the part where it's like everyone ended up in Texas as just a way of like just pushing your stuff.
Also, like, what's up, Hawaii and Dakota?
Yeah, come on. Like,
Well, have you ever been to Hawaii?
Yeah.
no,
They hate people from the mainland.
Yeah, they do.
I will say
They wish they were their own country.
I will say my grandma grew up in
They
Hawaii until
were.
she was.
Yeah, I know, but they wish that they were again. Like,
My grandma grew up there until she was 10 years old. She always talks about. She said, "I feel like I never wore shoes until I was 10." When my great grandpa died in Hiroshima, and they went back to Monroe without knowing it, and they got a letter. It's like, "Hey, your dad's dead.
Yeah.
Sorry."
You know that like people in the Appalachians don't wear shoes until they're like 14.
Right, but that's so they can develop souls.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
they also don't like wash the first week of a period or the first 2 days of a period. Otherwise, they think women will die, according to Appalachian superstition.
That's a nice callback.
Or rock a empty rocking chair as to invite death.
Yeah. That's was that 84?
Weird to not. It's weird to not fuck your cousin to invite death.
That's how to invite extra or missing chromosomes.
Dude, death loves an inbred child.
Yeah.
It loves to hang out and scoop it up early.
this has been episode 84A.
Cut all of it.
85A.
85. I'm just trying to get out of this right now.
Okay. All right, my name is Jake, probably canceled. Bless you. So.
I'm Renee, kind of craving red velvet cake and ice cream.
Oh, is the full moon coming?
Is that
Got
a menstrual joke?
It is not.
Okay, there you go. And then my name is Adam. Toxic Shock Riley.
There you go. Yeah. This is what this has been about.
later boners.
Bye.
You met me at a very strange time.